Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go. Here we go.
Oh, here we
Here we
go.
go.
Oh, here we go.
Welcome back to the motherfucking podcast, y'all.
What's up? I'm Stephanie.
I'm Lacey.
Wait, it's the Oh Here We Go podcast.
I was getting there.
Oh, okay.
And this is Oh Here We Go.
Okay. We're in LA.
Nobody cares.
Nobody? They don't. But what's up? How's everybody doing today? Are we almost out of retrograde?
Oh my god, fucking finally. Yeah, I think it ends today actually.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, this has been a fucking clusterfuck. It's been whiplash the past couple of weeks.
This podcast keeps us busy.
I don't even like travel has been weird, like relationships have been weird, work has been super stressful. It's just been a lot, but I'm surviving. Look at me. I'm strong.
Yeah, you got this. Yeah. And I mean, yeah, it's all been insane. It's just, but honestly, I feel like I'm so used to it at this point that I'm just like,
Life.
okay, yeah.
This is it.
Yeah, like you've been so busy since you left Denver last time, and I feel so bad because you're just like,
So much is going on. I mean, I'm thankful. It's a good problem to have, to be busy, but I'm just like, I get overwhelmed sometimes. Just because, like, I don't know. I also like to take time for myself and my relationships, but when work is just like, hey, bitch, you have to work. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want to.
I know. Meanwhile, I'm like, yay, like just like the busier, I'm like somehow more sane. And then when I'm not busy, I'm like stressed out about it. I'm like, what can I do to be more busy? Like, I don't know if that's bad, but probably.
Yeah, I think one thing that has been new is like brand deals are keeping me busy, which I haven't had brand deals in like a year, and I'm just like, Jesus fucking Christ! Like,
That's great.
it is great. It's tedious, and then it's good. I've been going out for auditions, which is really exciting.
Yeah. You are. And it's going to be weird to like listen back to our older episodes and how you were like just in like December being like, one thing I want for 2021 is to be in this or be in that. And like you're putting yourself out there and doing it. Like,
Dude, all the things that I wrote down, my intentions for the year, are coming to fruition in weird ways.
when I tell people that you want to act and be in movies or shows, they're like, well, she needs to be in acting classes. And I'm like, she is.
It's just people have opinions about me, but I'm like, y'all, I don't post my fucking life. Like, I
do.
I mean, it's just like people have all their opinions and assumptions, but I'm like, you don't fucking know me. Like, I don't
Right.
post like it's the same thing with people when they were commenting about COVID and like me going out. I'm like, bitch, I get tested every week. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, I
Yeah.
don't have to post like things to
Yeah.
validate my actions.
Yeah.
I'm just being.
Yeah.
And I don't care to tell you about it.
Right.
Like, I don't care to tell the world about it.
I know. I know a lot of people are like that, and I'm so just like everything I do. I'm just like post. I don't know why. I just like I've been so open with my life since the beginning. Like, I don't know if you're listening, if y'all remember Zanga, but that was basically, I used it as like an online diary. Like, I would literally go on there and be like, Monday in this class I did this, in English I like did this. I even said one time I like cheated on a test, and I guess someone showed the principal, and I like almost got kicked out of my softball team and everything. I've been so open since like day one. I don't know why.
You feel safe on the internet?
I don't know why.
Dopamine receptors?
Maybe I just really like just like talking and being open with people. I don't know why that is. We weren't raised to be that way. I've just always,
I was like that when I was younger. It's just I have anxiety about it now, and also
Yeah.
it's like just turned into like I don't really care anymore.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. It's just I've definitely changed, especially this year. Like I feel like my posting and my sharing has minimized.
yeah.
Because it's also
has.
I'm sharing on so many different outlets where I'm just like, what
Oh,
else can I fucking give?
You do have a lot of other outlets that aren't just Instagram that are that's so
Yeah.
true. Yeah, I really only share so much on one. So I
Yeah,
think
I'm like
it's just,
I'm
so much.
spread pretty thin on a lot of different platforms.
I just pictured you as like
But
yeah, just like okay. Well, to kind of tie it into today, we bring on an ex-Jehovah's Witness member.
Her name's Kennedy.
And she's awesome. We've just been, so, you know, for those of you that may be new listening, Lacey and I are from the South in Arkansas, and religion was obviously a huge part of our lives. I was raised Catholic and Lacey was raised Baptist. And like I went to private school from 2nd to 8th grade. I went to church 3 times a week. I mean, it was so beat into my fucking upbringing that, I mean, obviously we talk about it now or we talk about it in the interview, but when it was so like, as a child held around, like felt like I was just like, people's hands were around my neck telling me like, you believe this is what you do, blah, blah. I didn't have any type of relationship with God because of that. And I didn't really find one, whatever it is. I didn't find that relationship or that connection until after I left and like after I was on my own. And like now I'm so like, I love where I'm at with that. And so we've been so curious about religion in general because we still deal with it. Like our parents still like my parents have gotten a little bit better, but it's just so much sometimes, like to where like we talk about how like I'm thinking my parent, like we're in this group chat with my family and they're about to send they send a TikTok and I'm like, oh, it's gonna be funny, it's gonna be about like some inside joke that we used to do as kids, and I open it and it's some like Bible verse about some man telling you what you need to be doing, and I'm just like, can we just talk? Like, can we just like have a funny
conversation?
Yeah, could we just like be? Or like if I'm like going through something in my life and for a split second I open up to my parents, they're like, well, God, you know, did it this way. And so I'm just like, can we just, can you tell me like what, like on an emotional level without any of that? Like, and I know you deal with it too.
Can you speak for yourself?
Can you speak for yourself? And like, just help me for a second. Like whenever I was going through, I was dating this guy a few years ago and I mentioned that we had wanted to go to relationship therapy. And I talked to my dad about it. I was like, yeah, do you know like any therapists? And I was like, we don't want to go to a priest. Like we're not, that's not it. And he could not believe me. He was like, I was like, I want someone, if I'm having issues, if like we're having relationship issues, I want someone to give me advice, not tell me to read the Bible. Like I want to know how to like
actually deal with this.
And he could not, it was like one of our biggest fights. And it's a constant thing. My parents have gotten a little bit better now because I'm like, Jesus, I'm 30 years old. Like how, when do y'all quit? Like stop. Like at what age do I get to like have the ability to be my own person at this point? And it's gotten a little bit better. And at this point, I've also gotten a little bit better in ignoring it. But it is just something that I see, like we see religions just, I mean, just completely rule people's lives. And I mean, that's fine. But we don't really understand that at all because we're so like free spirited. And we just, we want to live life to the fullest, like 100%. And
you know, I will say that, I mean, growing up Baptist, it was Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night, the whole...
Sunday morning and Sunday night?
Yeah. And then the whole summer I was gone. I loved being gone. I loved Christian church camps because they were fun. Okay. But they were like based off religion, but I never truly felt connected. And I would always like be peeking. I'd be like, wait, why do they have their... I was just like, why don't I feel inclined to like raise my hand? Like I was never that bitch that was like truly in it. And I was always envious of people that were like in it. And then anytime they were like, if you need God to enter your heart tonight, raise your hand. And I'd be like, I would say that prayer every single time because I didn't feel like I was a good enough Christian. I was so scared of hell. And so, I mean, it's been like such a journey, and I wouldn't say I like dramatically left the church. It's just been this gradual thing. Like I moved to LA and I stopped going to church, and then I started asking questions just like for myself for the first time because I just grew up believing what I was told to believe. And so like my parents are obviously like still heavily involved in the church, and that's like their core value. That's how they view life, but they're not like super, I wouldn't say they're like heavy on me now because they see how much They just know that I'm a good person. Like I think they trust me now. I mean, obviously they wish there's probably some fear that I'm going to go to hell based off of the way I live my life. But yeah, like you said, your dad or your parents just giving you scriptures. That was my dad, like growing up. We would come to him, tell him about the gossip or like the drama going on at school or whatever we may be dealing with. He'd go to his room, walk out, open his King James version of the Bible, and just start reading scripture. And we'd be like, we're 13 years old and we're not listening to a damn word you're saying right now. Like, I mean, King James, like, so that was kind of like that. But I will say I am really thankful for the person I am today. And I'm like, I wonder, because I was so heavily involved in the church and I felt like safe and almost like a good girl, and I don't know, I'm like,
no, I agree,
as a part with how I am today.
It's same, and I like that part. It did teach me it did teach me right and wrong,
right?
Because as a child, it could be Jesus, it could be the story of Jesus, it could be the story of anything, but you have to have that fundamental foundation of what is right and wrong.
Dude, it kept me out of trouble.
Right. It kept me out of trouble too. And I remember one time, like, I was a kid, and you know, like, all kids like steal from Dillard's at some point in their life.
No, they fucking don't.
Okay, but as a kid, you'll take a toy out of the store. Or
I stole stickers from a sticker book one time when I was like 5 or 6, and they made me return them.
No, okay, well, that is you. I know plenty of people, and like, it's almost like this like rite of passage. But either way, it's like, but I didn't. The thought process behind that was, I felt like I shouldn't do that because I'm like, I'm gonna go to hell if I steal. Like, I'm going to be in so much trouble. Like, I'm going to, all these things. Like, I would go to, like, confession or something, and just, like, I wouldn't feel comfortable enough to, like, really pour out all my thoughts and stuff. But, like, it's just weird that it does, it's weird and it's good that it does give that path for right and wrong. Yeah. However, I do believe that can be taught in other ways. Like, and that's what, like, if I ever, have kids, like, I want them to learn about all religions. I want them to also learn that you don't need that. Like, you have to be a good person for, you know what I mean? Like,
we mentioned this in the episode, and we touch on consciousness and how religions, organizations, cults almost take control of your consciousness. And some people like need that. Like, some people want to be led. They need that hope. They need leadership because they don't want or know how to think for themselves. And so just religion being one of the things, it can lead you further and further away from like your own intuition and your own being and your own power.
Right.
And so like stepping away from like a structured religion where people are telling me what to do, I just feel so more in tune with myself, and I feel way more powerful, and I feel like more like my authentic self, and it fucking shows. Like, so it's been an interesting journey in that way. Journey.
I'm thankful for having to go to church 3 days a week. That taught me like structure. It taught me at the end of the day, if you strip away religion from it, it taught me structure. It taught me right and wrong. It taught me things
community.
It taught me things.
Giving,
like
how to love like one another in a way.
No, I don't remember that.
There's also like hypocrisy in the church.
I'm like, I don't remember that. Like, I don't, because to me, there's Christians, there's like real Christians, and then there's Christians, like with quotations. Right. And to me, like, I've only met, I feel like maybe less, like a handful of people in my life that I'm like, you are what embodies a Christian to me, like an actual Christian.
BC.
I just don't know him well enough yet. But I don't look at anyone that believes in Christianity and that also doesn't believe in like human rights, like, like that equality. Like, what the fuck?
Like,
at
same
the very,
sex marriage, like,
loving,
at the very like end love of the day, is love.
Like,
yeah. what are your priorities? Yeah.
I just can't, like, and I will never, like, that will just be such a priority if I ever have children. I'm like teaching them to be good people and to love everybody and to be loving of anyone different than them, you know? And I was not taught that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, I told my mom this recently. We can touch on a little argument I got into my mom with. Mama drama.
Mama drama.
I told her, and I think religion, depending on the community and whoever you're involved with, it's not out of love. It's out of control. Because the way I live my life now is just like, it's truly putting love first. Like those are
such a priority.
Yeah, those are the goggles I choose to put on every day, and it's just whatever, like nothing else matters. Love. But one of our last episodes, the how to do threesomes with Kelly, my mom listened to it, and Stephanie and I talk about like, like, do we want to hook up with a girl? Like, are we manifesting something? We just like touch on that lightly, and I can't really see it happening because
I can't see it. But I
am.
Can't.
But it's like,
but I'm not like not open to it. I can't see it.
I'm curious because I'm like, what does that feel like?
Right.
It's kind of like how
I want to have new experiences.
Same thing as like, well, what do psychedelics do?
Right.
Like, I'm just fucking curious.
Yeah.
And so my mom listened to it, and she sent me this text message that was just like not okay. She contacted me wanting me to make her a promise that I would never have any sexual acts or consider doing any sexual acts with a female. It isn't right by God. She told me not to lower myself to just acting like an animal. Same sex is not okay. Even animals know it. And it was just
so everything was wrong about it.
There's so much that was wrong about it, and usually like I just let that shit roll off my back because I'm just like, it's not even worth arguing. But I was like, no, like you need to know, like you should not, like it shouldn't fucking matter.
At the very end of the day, you are old enough to where like they don't need to be saying that shit to you.
Yeah, and it's just like, I told her, like, this is my life, this is my experience, this is not your life to dictate.
Hiding it around your neck, man.
Yeah, because she texted me, like, again, like, said something that was just like, glad you're not mad at me. I've let you say your thing. I've let you do your thing.
Can we touch on the fact that how, like, that episode we talk about what happened to you?
Sexual assault.
Yeah, like literally we talked about, which you hadn't even opened up to your mom about, and you bring up sexual assault. She listens to the whole episode but touches on you maybe seemingly interested in hooking up with a girl that will probably not happen. You know what I mean?
And I bring that to her attention, and she's like, I hate that happened to you, but what I hate more is you didn't tell me first.
Oh, okay. I thought she was just say what? But
I'm just like, the fact that this is exactly why I wouldn't come to you in the first place.
Right.
Like, why? Like, this is exactly why, because everything that you are saying to me, you're not hearing me, and you're invalidating all of my experiences.
Right.
And so I told her recently, I was just like, this is not out of love. Like, how can you say all of these things to me in the way that you're saying it, saying that, oh, it's because I love you so much and I just don't want you to regret anything. Love you, honey. How can you say all of these things? And it's not out of love. It's out of control based off of your own religious beliefs, not mine.
Right.
And I was like, I am my own person. Like, you say these things as if you've given me permission to be my own person, as you fucking should, because I am a human with my own human rights.
Yeah. It's the Christian.
Yeah.
Like that. Like,
so it's just like, cool, I see your perspective as a mother, and maybe you're worried about me going to hell.
I would see a perspective as a mother with the assault. That's where the mother role comes in.
Dude, priorities, man. And so it's just, I have been talking about this with my friends, and it's just like, everybody's shocked, but I'm like, used to it.
And I feel like my parents would be the same. No, I don't know if my mom would do. I think my mom would, but my dad would react like your mom. But I don't know what my mom would do. But I would say that My mom's a little bit more chill on the sense. She's very like not so like, meh, 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 you know, like hold you by your throat kind of thing. But I don't get it. I don't get prioritizing that over a relationship with your child.
Yeah, like what's this stemming from? And like instead of listening to me and my
Why?
side and what was going on with me, like, why are you just gonna like weaponize God?
Where they're like, we must control you through God. Like,
I don't know, because like this mom situation, this hasn't happened in so long. Like I felt so comfortable and free to talk about anything with my mom until this like specific situation. And
I don't deal with it all the time for my dad either. It's like very like.
And so it's interesting because I'm like, where the fuck is this coming from? Like I've been my own bitch for a minute now. Like why is this all like coming up now? And so I almost just like let it go. But part of me is just like, no.
I can't let it go anymore because I'm like, when the fuck do you start respecting me? Like when do you start respecting me? Like I'm 30 years old. Like you haven't paid my bills and when?
And I it's like I get this all the time. It's just like it's like this dominance, like you're still like an immature, like you don't know and nothing. Like I get like you'll understand one day, like you'll understand when you have a daughter. Like, oh, what'd she tell me? Sorry for the attitude that you have. I'm like, are you fucking serious? Like, what? Like
this, I don't have any good experiences with religion because of how the people are,
like they got some whack ass community.
Yeah, like you know what I'm saying? Yeah, like and there's some that are like great. Like like we've said, like I said, like there's people that embody that. Even I feel like the term Christian is really tainted now just because of how I've seen Christians act.
Dude, I haven't felt emotionally safe or safe enough to be authentically myself within the Christian church and community.
No. Oh.
No. Yeah.
No. I actually like have a very like view about it. I'm like like I don't know about that. Like I just don't have it. I don't feel good about that shit anymore, and that's y'all's fault, honestly. I just and I could really fucking dive in on this, but I don't want this to be 45-minute intro. We will always be talking about religion in our past in future episodes because it was just such a huge part of our lives. But
I don't have like it's like I will say I still love my family, and
still
like, and I don't judge them. Like I'm like, that's your beliefs. Like, and you Gucci with that.
Yes, like you don't, but just don't push them like on me.
You fucking live in life. Like you Bible study. Like my dad, like I'm like, I love my dad. Like, and I love my mom. And they're like, I'm like, you do, like, this is working for you. It's not for me. And we've been in this place where it's just like, it is what it is. I mean, obviously they want the best for me, but for the most part, they haven't forced anything on me in a while. And it's because I think they're finally trusting of, oh, like Lacey is a good person.
Until recently, but yeah.
Yeah, this is a little retrograde, right, Mercury retrograde bomb.
That's where it's been with me too. Like we used to butt heads all the time, and it's just now it's to the point where they just kind of like leave me alone and let me do my own thing. Like oh my God, when I used to do boudoir photos of other people and then even myself, oh my God, I never heard the end of it. But now I'm like, they leave me alone. Like they really let me be my own person now. And we don't fight. It's a lot better.
You bring up boudoir, and I remember, I think I was maybe 19, and I posted this like a modeling photo of me in this lace teddy bears. What the fuck are those called? Teddies? No.
Baby doll thing?
It was this lace like bodysuit, and you could kind of see like, I guess my nipple, but like not hardcore, because that's not even like really my style to like post online. It was fucking tasteful. Never saw the end of that.
A lot of people fear that nipple, man.
I think about it and I'm just like, like we are so disconnected from Earth, like our original purpose on this earth, due to the society that humans fucking built. Like all of these rules, like jobs, currency, money, credit cards, is all man-made, and it doesn't fucking matter. Like clothes, like obviously like clothes can help you to protect you and stay warm and all of that fucking shit, but it's just like we were naturally put on this earth with zero clothes, like in nature, and we are so far disconnected from why we were originally put here due to what humans have done to this earth.
Right. And like and I feel like I would connect differently with religion if that was a priority. Like we talk about with Jehovah's Witness, she was saying how, you know, their afterlife is on earth right?
Yeah, it was called paradise,
and it's to be like with all the good people and be everyone's perfect, no illnesses and all that, but on earth. And I'm like, okay, well, do you guys like in your religion make it a priority to protect earth? And she's like, no. And I'm like, the fuck is that about? Like, it's just like, what is that? Like, why is that not a priority, you know? And it's just like,
it's so interesting. Like
the disconnect is all around.
The disconnect is huge.
Hypocriticism?
Yeah.
Is that the word? I don't know.
Well, like even in religion, like I'm just speaking from like a southern perspective where like sustainability and recycling and being eco-friendly.
How would that not be a priority?
And it's just like, how you say you love God so much, but what the fuck are you doing for like the greatest creation that he created?
Yeah.
You're destroying it.
Right.
And they're like, climate change doesn't make sense. Like my family's, they still buy like plastic water bottles, and I'm like, that is just one small thing that you can change. Like
straws. Like, I mean, it's just like, they
don't see their consequences, and I'm like, look, I know that this isn't personally affecting you and you can't see your consequences firsthand, but like widen your perspective just a little bit. Just like widen it up, and just like show some bigger compassion.
Right. Like it's the people that pretend to I think it's so funny when people speak for God or like pretend that they can and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But the best thing that I've ever heard about God, and I think it's like a line from like a song that's some like screamo band or something, but God is not God if he can fit inside your head. So at that point, why the fuck are you speaking for him? You know, like, why are you even acting to, you know what I mean? Like, why are we receiving text messages from our parents about what God wants us to do? Like, why are we like, why?
I can, if you can, I can.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I mean, like, if you're going to do that, well, actually, God just told me that I can hook up with girls. So, like, you know what I'm saying? Let's, like, stop. Just, like, be a good person. Take care of the planet. At the very fucking least, take care of the planet.
Yeah.
Like, and just be good to people. And then, like, practice your religion in the privacy of your own home. And
we didn't even touch on this. Racism in the church.
I can't.
Like
I know. Like, I said to my dad,
make it make sense.
I was like, where in the Bible does it say that I cannot marry a black guy?
My parents told me the same thing growing
up. And we had this conversation like before the Black Lives Matter movement, actually. And I was like, where in the Bible does it say that I can't marry a black guy? And he was like, well, you're right, it doesn't. I am wrong about that. And like, I'm not gonna put him on blast and everything, but it's just like, what the fuck? Like, that's not Christian to me.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. It's not out of love.
It's not out of love. It's out of power and like control and like, oh, I'm about to just go off on this.
I mean, I know some real Christians, but like from our experiences, there's a lot of fake. There's like a lot of shit that's not out of love.
I know, and like and then we learned today, just to tie back into this, like Jehovah's Witness is not Christian, right? That's not considered that.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, and like we didn't even know that, and I just didn't realize how different everything all was.
Yeah. But it's all the same.
But it's all the same, and it's like, it's crazy, y'all.
It's like, what y'all doing?
I just like sometimes I get like really heated on the intros, and I'm like, sorry for y'all that are listening, because like I'm just talking about it openly, and I'm probably gonna like regret it, but it's fine. But anyways, y'all, because we're gonna talk about religion again, and it'll always kind of trickle up in conversations because it just has to at this point. But Lacey's stomach just growled so loud, and I hope we got it on the intro. Oh my god! We both just looked at each other like, okay, okay, guys. Anyway, to get back to it, we have Kennedy on today, and we learned a lot. And sorry if if you're a Jehovah's Witness and you're listening and it makes you uncomfortable.
They're probably not even allowed to listen to this type of shit.
They're probably not, but if you
they would get called in for confession.
If you're feeling a little frisky and you listen to this interview,
if you're trying to get control of your consciousness,
there you go, feeling a little out there. It's uncomfortable conversation. If any conversation makes you uncomfortable, it's probably for a good thing.
Challenging,
yeah, in some way, whether it be good or bad, I guess. But yeah, we bring Kennedy on, and we're excited that not excited, but we're thankful that she was willing to be so open about a big time in her life that she's still kind of healing from, and she's learned from, and that isn't the easiest thing to talk about. So yeah,
without further ado, here we go. Welcome back to the podcast, guys.
Yeah, hello. Today's interesting.
Today we have on Kennedy, who is an ex-Jehovah's Witness.
Sure, we'll get into the terms.
Yeah. I actually put out a blast on Instagram for the first time asking about a topic similar to this, and Kennedy reached out to me and was like, I was an ex-Jehovah's Witness, and I was like, yes,
yeah,
I want to know about that.
Well, I feel like religion has always just been like such a huge thing in our lives, obviously, forcefully, and we're at the point now where we're old enough to think for ourselves, obviously, and so this was always a religion that I had heard about, and like I had a friend that was one, but I never really understood it. We would just like argue as like little kids, just be like, no, this is what's like just all this shit. And but yeah, like we'll get into that. But yeah, I'm happy that you're on. Yeah, this is gonna be interesting.
We're going in blindly. I don't know anything about Jehovah's Witness.
I only know things that like my friends have told us to ask you, but
yeah.
But yeah, go ahead. Wait, so
introduce yourself.
Yeah, introduce yourself.
My name's Kennedy. I'm 23. I really don't have much to say about myself. I'm just like a wandering soul.
I love
living
that.
this life.
Cute.
Okay.
Yeah, Kennedy was just telling us off air that she's been like traveling around with her boyfriend, and I love that so much.
Yes, I do too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is really. Wait, so are you from LA?
Originally I was born in New York, and then I moved to Pennsylvania, so I lived in Pennsylvania most of my life.
Okay.
And then we just recently moved here like a month ago.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. And then you're just kind of like traveling around now and everything like that. Okay, cool. Well,
Where did you grow up? Like, you said you were born in New York.
Whitehall.
Okay.
Whitehall area.
Were you born into Jehovah? Like how? Okay, give us like the story. Like
I wasn't born into it necessarily, but it was like right around like the beginning eras, like when I started getting my memory.
Yeah.
So basically, yes, born into it.
Were your parents Jehovah's Witnesses before you were born?
My mom became a Jehovah's Witness when she was pregnant with my younger sister, actually.
Okay. So your parents, how did your parents, like, what was their decision and why did they become a Jehovah's Witness?
So it wasn't my dad's decision. My dad actually was not a fan of it at all. So that ended up being like one of the reasons for divorce later down the line in my parents' marriage. But my mom decided. I think she just had like kind of a harder life, I feel like. And, I think that's like a big pattern you see when you look at like religion in general, is that, people struggle. Obviously, everyone struggles. And some people have like maybe a harder time finding their way without like that guide. So I feel like that's kind of what it was for my mom. Not that I can speak for her, but that's kind of how I view it.
I totally see that.
and I mean, like with religion, like there is that. Like it gives people
Purpose.
Something.
Yeah.
Purpose.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
like
Community.
reason and
Yeah. Direction.
that light
Yeah.
that people need. And I think that is great. Like,
Yeah, I
I
think
love
that's
it
a
for
beautiful
that.
thing.
It
absolutely.
it gives humanity like a good structure to follow.
Right.
for the most
Anything that's
part.
like good that can get someone from A to B that's not hurting you.
Yeah.
But then there's that whole other side where
Exactly.
it does hurt you. So it's just like, okay.
So, do you know the definition or the history of Jehovah's Witness? Like, what is their mission? What?
Yeah, for the people that don't even know what that is, which
Like
I don't
me.
know. Okay, yeah. Like Lacey. Yeah.
See, this is so crazy because like most of my life I went to church and I like, focused on what this religion was all about. And then I feel like as I got away from it, I kind of like threw it all out of my brain basically. So I have to like relearn right now. But
You know more than us.
Yeah, they started way back when. I mean, like Bible times, you know what I mean? Like,
Oh, really?
that's where every religion says they start off, So I
Okay.
think it just like took its own little course. I don't know. I guess you could do research on it. It's not always accurate online. That's the only thing I will say about Jehovah's Witnesses. So
That's
Okay.
interesting.
So is it Mormon that isn't Bible times?
I don't know. I actually don't know a lot about Mormons, honestly.
Well,
Yeah.
okay.
well, next
We're-
episode.
yeah.
We're
Take
learning
someone
about
else
that
on
one
for
too. Yeah. Okay, wait. So it started back like all the way like where everything else did. To
Yeah.
you.
I didn't know that. I
Right.
had no
At
idea.
least that's what they believe,
So how?
Yeah.
Because we both grew up. Well, I grew up really Christian, or we just grew up in the Bible
I
Belt.
grew up Catholic. Yeah.
So how does Jehovah's Witnesses view like Christianity or like denominations like that? Because is
Yeah.
it different? Like, do you?
It's definitely different. So those are like frowned upon. So basically like
Oh, wow.
going to
What?
Yeah, so like going to another church and like when you're a Jehovah's Witnesses and questioning your beliefs and looking at like pagan religions is what they call them. So they basically say that they are rooted from like humankind more or less. Which
Wait. So Christian is pagan?
I don't know
Is that
what the
what
fuck that means.
Wait. So okay.
you
Yeah.
have to
What?
look up some definitions.
She's like, okay, I'm not like fucking doing everything. okay, wait, okay. So,
But that's
keep
kind
going.
of kind of how they would like describe it, is that like this is the one true religion. That's how Jehovah's Witnesses view themselves, is like we're the one true religion. Jehovah is the one true God.
Oh,
And,
Jehovah's the God.
Yeah, Jehovah. Oh, yes. This is actually a good place to start because I feel like a lot of people are like, "Oh, you believe that there is no Jesus" or something like that. I think a lot of people say that. I'm not sure.
Oh,
About Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not
I
sure.
didn't know that.
But they say like you don't believe in Jesus, but it's actually that we believe that. Well, not we. They believe.
Yeah.
But they believe that God is Jehovah, and then Jesus was his son.
Wait.
Okay,
Okay. But why?
Well,
why the name Jehovah?
but isn't that
I
isn't
don't
that
know,
Christian?
actually.
Like God,
It's
and then Jesus
See,
is
this
his
is
son.
the
Is that
thing-
not Christianity?
This is the
Essentially?
thing I think about religion. Like Christianity, it's like the same story, same set of rules in a way, tweaked a little,
Yeah, in a different way.
but just it's changed so people can have power and money over people. That's my view on any
Right.
religion.
Yeah.
And so this is like, it
Exactly.
sounds very similar
Very
to
similar.
Christianity.
Yeah. I mean, but that whenever I was in like my what class was that? Like learning about all the different types of religions in college.
Oh yeah.
We were learning, and I was like, "This sounds like the Bible. Like this sounds
Yeah.
like this." And I was like, "This was before then." And I'm like, "What's going on?"
Yeah,
And that,
so-
yeah.
Do you have like a Bible? Like who wrote your book? Or like what is the
So-
Or
book?
there.
Yeah, their
Oh,
book is
yeah.
like, I know, I even have to like get myself out of the habit of saying we, because it was just like my whole life. So when I
Yeah.
talk about it, it's from like that like raw experience. Like we did this because I was part of it, but
Right.
I'm no longer part of it.
Okay. Yeah.
What was the question? I'm sorry.
I know that happens to me all the time. Don't you guys have your own like Bible?
Oh yeah, so the translation they use is the New World Translation. At
What does
least
that
that's like the last that I understood.
Oh, so like the New World Translation of the Bible?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So they have like a really big organization, honestly. Like it's like international organizations where I feel like a lot of other religions are just like based in one country. Do you know what I mean? So they have like a very big organization. So there's people who like work together to do like research and then like try to like update it for newer times, basically.
Okay.
Oh,
So
wow.
that all happens within.
So you guys don't use the traditional Bible?
No.
Why? Just because you...
Oh, wait, and you're not allowed to ask why, right?
No.
You're not allowed to. That's one thing I
Wait,
do know.
what?
You're not allowed to ask questions. And
What?
if you ask questions, they'll kick you out, right?
It's
Are you fucking serious?
that's a more
Hold on,
extreme. That's a more
Calm
extreme
down.
version of it. But it's similar. It's like there are certain things you don't ask. There are certain things because I don't know. It's very, and this is where I had a very hard time with accepting is like, if you ask a question about this is like the same bland, basic answer you're going to get every time. This is like derived from the Bible. Ooh, shit. This is like derived from the Bible, and this is like how we're going to answer your question. And if you keep saying why, you're basically like questioning.
And they think it's like rude or an insult.
Yeah,
or
basically.
you don't have
it's
faith.
a question of your faith. Yeah, exactly.
I fucking hate this. They're trying to control your consciousness.
Yeah.
Oh, this makes me so mad.
I know.
We're
This is my
like-
whole childhood.
Like 6 minutes in, and Lacey's like flipping. Okay, wait. What did we originally ask you? Okay.
New World Translation.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, how do you join this? Like, if I were just like, you know what, tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, you never had like a Jehovah's Witness knock on your door before?
No.
Neither of you?
Yes.
No. I've never have.
Yes, and then aren't you supposed to say something to make them never come back? Like you've like
There's a magic word.
there is. What is it?
Put me on your do not call list.
Well, no. Well, I mean that one, yes, but no. There's something that you say like it's like, oh, I've been banned or
Oh, yes. That's getting into like the terms that we were talking about before. So if you're disfellowshipped, it means that you've been like kicked out of the religion, basically.
and they'll like never come back, right?
Well, no, you can come back. So there's been people who have been like disfellowshipped for like a sin that they committed, and they were basically okay. So let's get into this. Let's just get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's get it started.
Okay.
So basically, if you don't follow all of the rules of the religion, if you don't follow all the rules of the religion, it's a sin. Obviously, we all know what sins are.
Mm-hmm.
But so basically, once you're like found guilty or not guilty of the sin, and whether or not you were like repentant of it, they decide what your punishment is. So the worst would be disfellowshipping, meaning that you weren't repentant for your sins.
Who the
What
fuck?
sin?
Wait. Who the fuck decides if you are guilty or not guilty?
So it's basically like a little meeting, and it's just like, so for example, if I like committed a sin, I would have to sit down and talk to the elders of the congregation. So every congregation has elders.
But of each church.
Yeah.
Okay.
We call them kingdom halls, not churches, actually.
Oh, okay.
Kingdom
Yeah.
halls.
Okay, wait. So what would be like a sin? That's like that
Sex
would
before marriage.
Okay.
that gets you
And
kicked out?
It could, yeah.
Would people snitch on you?
Yes. I've definitely, actually, yeah. The one time I had an ex-boyfriend snitch on me, actually.
And so he
Yeah.
snitched on you, and then did you have to come forward yourself, or did they like call you?
It was actually kind of fucked up the way he did it. He was like, you have blah, blah, blah amount of time before I tell on you. And I was like, well, that's like less than 24 hours, so you do you, I guess. And I will deal with the consequences after.
What were your consequences, or what was that process like?
So it's very invasive, honestly. Like, they sit you down and they're like, what did you do? How did you do it?
Oh, we're going to get into this. I have questions about this specifically.
Yeah, it's very, very, very invasive, especially as, like, at the time I think I was, like, 17.
Wow.
So it's like you're, like,
into that, like, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, my God.
Which is, like, really uncomfortable. So then they basically just, like, go from there, and they're like, okay, what did you do? Then you explain the situation. They're like, do you know why this was wrong? And they'll, like, sit down and show you scriptures from the Bible of, like, why what you did was wrong. You know what I mean? And then dependent on, like, your attitude the entire time, basically, is how you get
So you have to be like,
judged.
so sorry.
Yeah.
Is this considered a cult?
I don't know. That's where the line is, like, rough. Like, we could look up, like, the actual definition of a cult.
And it kind of is based off a Google definition.
But
Based off of a Google definition, yes, I would say it is, definitely. But also there's a lot of other things that would be viewed as a cult then, too.
right. Absolutely.
So-
Yeah, and I mean, that's what I was thinking about, too. I was like, I think, most of followings, I guess, could be considered
Yeah, because I
that.
think if you look it up, it says, like, blindly following,
Right.
endless faith, like, stuff like that. You know what I mean? That
Right, and that could be a lot of things.
Yeah.
What are some like culty things that, like, some things that you're like, this might be like a cult?
That's a little weird.
That's a little weird. Man, there's so much.
Great, lots to unpack here.
Yeah. I would say honestly, just like the way that they, like, their faith needs to come above all else. Like, if you're not putting your faith before your family, before your job, before your life, like, then you're doing it wrong, basically. So that's something I have a really big issue with, especially with, like, people that I love being part of the religion, is like, I obviously don't partake in that anymore, but because they have to put that first, it comes above friends, family, like,
Wow.
yeah.
It's like I get it. What was like the last straw? Like, when did you leave, and what made you leave?
It was actually one of the times that I got reproved for something that was, like, actually very personal to me, and something that wasn't a mutual thing, but I still got in trouble for it. And I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm done with that.
So do you have to, like, did you just casually leave and just never came back, or is it like you have to, like, leave, like, officially
I had
leave?
to leave. I told my mom, I was like, well, I was very passive aggressive when I was younger. I mean, who wasn't, you know? But instead of being straightforward and just being like, hey, Mom, I don't want to go to, like, the Kingdom Hall, like, the meetings anymore.
Kingdom Hall, that is, I'll never get over that.
Like, instead of being like, I don't want to do this anymore, like, I don't know, what could we do about it? Like, maybe I could have gone about it that way, but I think the outcome would have been the same. So I just, like, started avoiding it. I was like, I would lifeguard. I would just, like, go hang out with my friends for, like, the designated times for meetings. So then once I started doing that and I was, like, coming around less, my mom was like, you need to, like, get your stuff together. You need to, like, go back to meetings. You need to get your spiritual life together, or you need to get out of my house. And I was like, well, that's not happening. So I packed up my stuff and I moved out.
Wow.
Oh, wow. How long
Yeah.
ago was that?
I was 18.
Wow.
Yeah.
I guess, well, can you kind of, like, go into, like, what you were talking about earlier, like, the situation, or is that, like, something you just, like, can't?
It's a little touchy, so I don't want to talk too much about it, but basically the overall gist of it was that I was underage. There was, like, things that happened with another member of the congregation that was, like, not appropriate and not on my behalf, but I still got in trouble
Wow.
for the situation.
Wow.
Was
Yeah.
this, like, someone in authority?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
How did they find out?
That person told.
Wow, that's so
Yeah, it was a
fucked.
very, very sticky, fucked up situation.
Is there, like, a Jehovah's Witness, like, drama TV show? Because, like, I feel like that would do well. Like,
I don't think so, but I think it would do well.
Does your mom know about that situation, or some of the
She
things?
does.
Okay.
Yeah, she does. And she was very upset for a while. Obviously, like, that's not something that she wanted to happen. So that was something that she had to deal with too. But she's just one of those people that her faith is so strong that she's like, I'm not going to let this rocket. And those were imperfect people that made that decision, which is true. They are imperfect, but that's the thing. You have imperfect people that are, like, judging people's lives and making huge decisions, and, you know,
Yeah.
it's
Ooh,
life
so
changing.
true. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
you can't put such a big responsibility in someone's hands that's imperfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
do you have any, like, interesting or weird stories that you experienced? Like, some things that come to your mind that you're just like,
Why did that happen? Why did we do that?
Yeah, like,
Yeah, actually, there was something that really pissed me off.
love that.
So,
Love that.
so I remember, okay, so, like, when you're younger, I don't know why this was a thing, but you would just, like, look up, like, the sex offenders in your area and be like, oh God, I see this person, like, walking the street. That's just something that we did to, like, make ourselves aware and be like,
Yeah.
okay, this person lives, like, near us, so we have to watch out for that. So I was looking at one of those lists and I noticed a familiar face on the list, and I went into the Kingdom Hall, like, a couple weeks later, and it was the sex offender. And it's like, you're not supposed to be, like, within a certain range of children, or, you know what I mean? And, like, there's children everywhere, like, families. And it was, and I was like, like, are you guys gonna do something about this?
Did they
And then
know?
someone was like, no, yeah, they know the situation, you know, it's a very delicate, whatever. I was like, I don't even want to hear that. That's disgusting. Like, he should not be here at all.
What?
Yeah.
And he. Oh.
Can you just start going to church, or do you have to be like approved, or like is there a ceremony? How do you get into?
You can
ritual?
just walk in. Like if you
Okay.
look up Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses, you can just like,
Okay.
find one and walk in. Like obviously it's a community, it's an organization, so they notice when people who aren't usually there show up. So they'll come over to you and they'll ask questions like, how are you? What's your name? And like they might offer you like a Bible study. So that's how you would like kickstart that basically.
So things like the sex offender thing and like your personal experience, are Jehovah's Witnesses, is it common for them to cover things up?
I couldn't say because I wasn't behind the scenes enough. I definitely feel that things that I went through should have been, I don't know, just like drawn attention to, you know what I mean? And I don't know, I didn't feel like it really ever got like that light from my experience. I know that a lot of their things are like to keep your business private, so obviously like they weren't gonna like put my information out there without my permission. But at the same time, I don't know, I just felt
Did
like
they
it didn't
ask if you wanted it to be brought to attention?
No, my mom asked me.
Okay.
So
I guess, but they cover that shit up in every religion, like
Yeah.
priests and like little boys.
Like,
and-
how do you become an authoritative figure or like an elder? I mean, obviously, I guess you get older, but like, how do you become like an elder or one of the people that makes decisions or someone that's like scolds them or decides your punishment? How do you become one of those things or those figures?
Yeah. So it's basically, it just starts with like, I don't know, it's just like anything. Like if you go into the military and you're like trying to get up to like, you know, that spot that you want to be at in the military. I don't know much about the military, but to like be one of those big like bosses, generals, like you have to like do your time basically. So I feel like it was just one of those things where like you showed up to meetings, you commented during meetings, you gave parts during meetings, you preached, you did this, you were a good person, you met with the elders a lot, like for good reasons, obviously. And you just build a name for yourself, and like the better you build a name for yourself, the better position.
Imagine that being like your motivation. Yeah, like imagine that being like your motivation in life.
I'm gonna be a high up at the church, at the Kingdom Hall.
I just we were thinking about this earlier, and like no offense to Jehovah's Witness, kinda, but I'm just so glad that we aren't.
That's not my life.
That's not my focus.
Yeah.
You know, because like I feel like when I was Catholic and going to church 3 times a week, all these things, doing everything I was told, I had less of a relationship with God or anything in that realm than I do now.
I completely agree with that.
It makes me like there's only like some type of music that makes me uncomfortable, but that would be Christian music for one. To hear people singing and making money and like profiting from God.
I never even thought about that.
And like just like and then you know that they're singing and then they're going backstage and like meeting people and living this like I'm just like, this stuff makes my skin crawl. To hear people singing about God this way and low key underneath it making money off of it all. I just
horrible.
like
I didn't ever think about that.
when my mom's like, when we're in the car and she starts playing, I'm like, I'm gonna have to jump out. Like I cannot. It makes me so like. I even think about it now. I'm just like, oh God, I hate it. Anyway, sorry, but yeah. Wait, so what do we?
Yeah, that's understandable.
Did you have were you homeschooled or did you go to a public school?
I actually went to a public school most of my life. I got homeschooled for like 2 years just because I was causing a ruckus, you know. Not again. Causing a little bit of a ruckus. My mom thought it would have helped my grades, but I actually ended up failing a year because I have low-key ADHD, so I could not focus.
Oh God, I have high-key ADHD.
So going to school with, like going to a public school, there was obviously people there that weren't Jehovah's Witness. So how was that? Like, do you
did they
have
make
friends?
fun of you or anything? Did you?
It was like, I don't think honestly I ever got made fun of for it.
That's cool.
I don't think I ever got made fun of. It was a lot of like it still felt weird, especially being like a young child, and like, you know, when you're young you just want to like fit in with everyone.
Right.
So
Yeah.
like, I want to celebrate the holidays. Like, no, like we didn't get to do that, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, because you don't celebrate holidays.
Yeah,
or birthdays,
no
right?
holidays, birthdays, like none of that.
I know. So I know like a
Oh.
little bit.
Have you? Oh my god, have you had Christmas now?
Yes.
Oh fuck yeah!
Okay. God, yeah. That's good you weren't made fun of. That would suck.
Yeah, but it was like a lot of like, you don't celebrate Christmas? Like one of those faces. I'm like, oh my God, here we go again. No, I don't celebrate Christmas.
Yeah,
Like,
wow.
So it was just like a very like repetitive, like, you don't celebrate your birthday? You don't, like, it was just like more annoying than anything, I would say.
What is the reason for that?
There's like different beliefs for like everything. Like there's actually like a little green book that they have that like has like the answers to these questions.
What?
But-
So like,
who
what
the
about
fuck
birthday?
wrote that
So you
book?
weren't allowed to ask like why we can't celebrate your birthday?
No, like questions like that, that's like what they did teach you. Like when you went to meetings and stuff like that, that's kind of why you were there. You're like getting your training almost. It's like, this is why you're doing what you're doing. This is why we believe what we believe. This is the answer to like the everyday questions that people have about us, basically.
Do you remember the answer to the birthday one?
I remember it had something to do with John the Baptist, I think. It was like, that was like part of it. I know, right?
Good old John.
But basically it was like his birthday, and
Good old John.
some person or another requested a head on a platter, and then someone's head got chopped off.
Wait,
and they're like,
what?
yeah.
You're like saying
Bible
this so
stories.
casually. You're like something about like a head on a
Yeah,
platter.
like they
It's
say
like-
that someone's head got chopped off, and they're like, no more birthdays.
Like in hit.
It was a really long time ago.
like in history.
Yeah, in history, like
What?
John the Baptist.
I'm not even gonna.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense because that was so long ago.
Right, it's just like.
And most people don't request that for their birthday
So do
nowadays.
they?
So
They don't. The people like the Pope. They don't give a fuck.
what do you mean?
Like, do they?
Sorry.
like what? Like Jehovah's Witnesses don't care about anything like to do with like the Pope.
Oh
or
no, because those are all pagan religions to them. So they're like, whatever. They're
Do you have a priest? Like who teaches? Like who?
no. So that basically goes back to like the ranking of like you in the congregation. So like, okay, you could be an unbaptized publisher. So I think that's like the starting point basically. So that's when you are not baptized but you like preach basically. And then you can become a baptized publisher. So you have to like go forth with questions and stuff like that, and then you get baptized. And then after that you could be like a pioneer, which preaches like, I think it's like 40 plus hours a month or something like that. Something that
Okay.
crazy. And then
preaches 40 hours a week.
a month.
A month. Okay, I was
Yeah.
like, what?
I think
okay.
it's 40. I don't know. I'm really rusty with all this,
Okay,
honestly.
okay.
But yeah, you could be a pioneer. So those are basically just big time preachers. And then there's ministerial servants, elders. There is the anointed ones, which are like the 144,000. So those are the
is
ones that are chosen to like live in heaven.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, so you don't even know if you get in heaven in this religion?
Who chooses you?
That's the thing. That's where it gets weird. This is where it gets really weird. Apparently you just know.
Huh.
Yeah.
Is it a consistent 144,000 or?
I don't know what the count is right now.
Oh.
honestly.
Wait, so they like come up to you and they're like, you get to go to heaven?
No.
No, you just know.
So, okay, so you know how like people celebrate like Easter.
Yeah.
So instead of Easter, what their thing is called the memorial. So they pass around like bread and wine to symbolize Jesus' blood and his
Yeah.
body. So for those, so like say you're going to meetings and it's the memorial, and before you decided like, I know I'm an anointed one. Like somehow you just knew that. So for that memorial, you would partake in the bread and wine, whereas no one else would, and that's how they would know.
Would you take the bread and wine?
No, I'm not anointed.
But like, would you feel like would you do this in front of everybody? Would you feel like pressured to take the bread and wine?
No, because like it's not something that's taken lightly. So you can't just be like, I'm anointed, I decided. Like they will, like they look at like your status basically. They're like, does this align? Does this make sense for them? Like, yeah.
Do you guys believe in hell?
No.
What?
Don't y'all have like no, that's okay.
I think that's
Where do they go? I mean,
so
if you believe in heaven,
they believe that there's a heaven and there's 144,000 that are chosen to go to heaven with Jehovah.
A year or ever?
A year.
Like 100 wait.
No,
there's
it's like 144,000 in general.
Only 144,000 people get to go to heaven.
Like
Yes.
At all.
And then the rest of the people, depending on like what their judgment is, like if they were good people or bad people, whatever God decides, then there's paradise, or you just die and you don't exist.
Paradise sounds fun.
Yeah, so that's what they believe. So that's what a lot of them are working towards, is to just like live here in paradise. So they believe that there's going to come a time of the Great Tribulation, which is what they call it. So it's basically going to be like God getting rid of like all of the bad people. And so the people who deserve to be on paradise, Earth, it's going to take place here. That's what they believe.
So Earth is paradise.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to be here forever. I'm trying to go up. I am going up.
I just don't understand the driving force behind this religion. I don't understand the trophy or the winning, the motivation to keep going when like y'all aren't even getting in there. Like,
Yeah, like you're not even living life.
You're not. You're having to live your life so strictly.
Yeah.
And two, you don't even get, your belief isn't even really that, like, at the end of it all, for what? Like, like, what are you,
Yeah,
what's the end goal?
Their end goal is paradise. It's like to live forever on an earth that is just like perfect. Like there's no illnesses, there's no sicknesses, there's no death, there's no,
Like, as a spirit, right? Yeah.
yeah,
like,
just like as you are now. Like they believe that you, like if you're good, it's going to be a new earth basically.
Oh.
then what's heaven?
So heaven is where the angels are. So that's like God, and he's going to like rule over.
So be just
Everyone.
like this, except
Yeah.
everyone's dead.
But we're
Yeah.
dead. But,
we're
we
still being ruled by the same thing. Like, it's just the same.
Yeah,
Except
so
we don't.
the bad people will be dead, so they'll
Gone.
be gone. And then the people who have lived their life like the way that Jehovah asked them to will live on paradise earth forever.
I don't like that.
I just am like, I need more than that. Like, because, okay, if the rules are this strict, if you guys are going to live, okay, fine. You know what? If you're a Jehovah's Witness and you're listening, and you 100% believe you're living your life to the fullest, okay. And like I just feel like for all that you're putting into it, the strictness, all the stuff that you've gone through, all of that for that, I'm just like, why don't you just be a good person every day?
Yeah.
Also, if you want to live on paradise, I guess it would be like this earth, but like
Was this the upside down,
like
but like a
pure.
possibility? Yeah,
I wanted to ask, like, is Jehovah's Witness in general doing anything to like save or preserve the planet and the animals, like doing good for
Oh
humanity?
my
Drives me crazy.
God.
I tried having this conversation with someone that's a Jehovah's Witness, and I'm like,
Oh,
they were talking about politics because they don't partake in politics whatsoever. They feel that
I'm so confused.
I know. I just see like the stress on your face that I like went through my entire life.
Wow.
Wait, okay, yeah. So they like believe in this afterlife where you're on Earth, everything's perfect, but they don't even do anything to
No, because
save the planet.
Yeah, their thing is like, okay, this is God's kingdom, and the only like political or like ruler in general that we listen to or answer to is God. So that means that you throw the president out of the window. You know what I mean? Like those people don't matter to them. So politics don't matter. So anything that they're trying to do for like global warming or anything like that, they don't partake in it. Like they could do their own thing like by themselves. Like some Jehovah's Witnesses I know are definitely like very eco conscious, but that's not how they all live, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So that's like a person.
But that should be, I would have a lot of respect for that if so, like if they were like, this is where we're going to end up, so we as a religion need to make sure that we're doing
like step in,
doing
feel
everything
like-
we can, because like
I feel like that's
That
a
would be
part
tight.
of Scientology. They're huge on like environmental practices, I think. Yeah.
okay,
Yeah, it's like it's called Scientology. They're very science based.
damn.
Yeah. Anyways, I would love to talk about that.
Yeah.
Well, I guess to kind of like get back to it, have you been exploring other denominations, or are you just like a spiritual, like?
I think I'm just a very spiritual person. Like, it's kind of like how you said when you like were forced to do all these things when you were a Christian, you had a very hard time like connecting to like God or whatever that higher power was. So I consider myself agnostic. I'm not atheist. Like, I don't ever say that I would like rule God out of the question 100%. But I do feel that there's a higher being, and I just try to tap into me as a person and what I'm supposed to be doing and following like my heart. And you know what I mean? Like, I have really good intuition. I'm a Cancer, you know?
It's like you're finally taking ownership and control over your consciousness and your beliefs, because it's been taken away from you for all of your life.
That was a very hard thing to gain back, honestly. I feel like for a while there, it was just like I was lost. I was like, am I making like a wrong decision by like living my life this way? Like, did I, like, is it really actually meaningless without a religion? And then that's where I had to like reinvent the way that I thought and say, just because I'm not choosing to go down the same path that like my family went down or like the same religion doesn't make me any less of a person, doesn't make me, you know what I mean? It doesn't make me a bad person. It doesn't mean I don't have spirituality or that I'm not a spiritual person. I just had to find a way to tap into that my own way.
Yeah.
So, do you have siblings?
Yeah.
Are they all still Jehovah's Witness?
No.
Okay, so is it just your mom?
I think my youngest brother is still in it for now, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, my mom's still in it, my grandma's in it, my aunt is in it.
Okay.
And then my younger brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
And well, I guess like for people that like wanted to leave, like what would be
your advice, or like, what would you say?
Just walk on out? Like what?
I would say just do it. Like, it's not worth, like, the way that I lived was just so unhealthy. Like, it just, and you don't even realize that the way that you're living is unhealthy until you leave it.
Yes.
Like, obviously most of the times, but yeah, it's worth it. Like, even if you feel like you're trapped and you like just need to like experience life and find out if the religion is for you, just do it. Like, you could always go back, you know. You can.
Yeah.
But it's only you got one life, you gotta live it.
Oh, how much have you like learned on your like your own spiritual journey? Like how has that been, like coming into your own, like asking the whys? Like what have you been up to? Yeah.
It's freeing, I feel like now I'm allowed to ask why, you know. Yeah, so it's just, I don't know, I have a very different look on life overall. So like even when it comes to like monogamy and like the way that you're supposed to be with like your partner, or like relationships, friendships, like there's a lot that I was just like raised like this is the way that you're gonna do it and this is the right way, and I'm finally able to be like, well, how do I actually feel about this? Like, does it make me comfortable? Does it make me uncomfortable?
I love that.
And then I just listen to that voice.
Well, and I'm like, I'm just a little frustrated because I'm just thinking about it, and I'm like, I know that people that are in Jehovah's Witness that practice that are happy, but I'm like, are you happy because you don't know anything else? You know what I mean? Like, like I thought I was happy at 20 years old dating my high school boyfriend and thought I was going to be like 21 with kids and all that, and because that's all I knew. And now I got out and like experienced life more so to the fullest, and I'm like, what? Like, I wasn't happy. And I'm just like, is religion so confining? Like, is that like,
some people need to be controlled.
I think honestly, like the example I said with like the people who seek it as like a refuge almost, I think that for them it's like a source of protection. So they think that this life that they're living is better than maybe the past life that they were living, because maybe they did have traumas, you know what I mean, and they had like a hard life and they were surrounded by bad constantly, and the only way for them to get out of that was by putting them like a place that someone said was good, you know what I mean?
Right.
So it was like a better alternative almost.
I see that.
And I like religion in that sense, but I feel like that's also found through spirituality.
Right. Well, the difference is, like, I was just thinking about this, like with religion, it's almost like you are relying on answers from someone else, and a higher power, and it's taking away from listening to yourself. Like you are getting further and further away from yourself. Therefore, like it's like, I don't want to say lost human, but you're like so far away from being in tune with yourself,
right?
Because you're just relying on all of this shit that people are telling you what to do. You should do this, what's right and wrong, and it's like you're not even listening to yourself, which is a power,
right?
But most people don't even like realize they have the power within themselves.
Yeah.
Damn.
What are some like instances where people like have been pretty like pious in public, and then like behind closed doors they're like totally different? Did you ever experience that? Just kind of like where, you know, like, because I'll see
like two-faced.
Yeah, like where
oh yeah, I mean, I would say honestly with the teenagers you get it the most, because you were raised in this religion and we're told by our parents like this is what you have to do, and if you don't do this you have the elders' consequences to deal with, you have your parents' consequences to deal with, and like there's all these emotions being a teenager, like wanting a boyfriend. Like there was a lot of times that like me and my friend group all had to sneak around to like date.
Oh, could you not date?
No. Because dating is for marriage. So when you're ready to get married is when you date, and if you're dating, you date in like public settings and with like a third party, so that you're not like
we're gonna get into
wait
this.
Were you allowed to, were the women allowed to be on birth control
if you're married, unless it was like a medical reason?
What were there strict regulations on the women?
Yeah,
right?
The women have no like say in the congregation at all.
There's no women in the congregation?
No, there's women in the congregation, but like they're like the pioneers, unbaptized publishers, and
they can't be like
decision makers.
Can they be one of the 144,000?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they get that. They get that. But like the like speaking and like counseling stuff, like they don't have any part in that.
No.
Yeah. And I questioned that the one time, and I forget who I asked. I don't want to like name people, but I asked someone, and I was like, how come like I can't, because like you can like hold microphones like when people comment at meetings. I was like, how come I can't do that? And they're like, well, that's just like how it is. Women don't like take a part in that. And I was like, well, why? They're like, that's just how it is.
How
and I'm
is
like,
this still around? Like,
is Jehovah's Witness popular? Like, are there like in the
it's
U.S.
huge, right?
Yeah, it's big.
Are they everywhere, or is there like certain states that there's more?
They're everywhere, basically, just about everywhere. Yeah.
Where the fuck I've been?
I know, I know a few, and I'm like, I just like wonder about it too, because I know some, and I'm like, what are y'all doing? Like,
I don't know.
Because like as a woman, like I'm like, bitch, are you not mad? Like,
yeah. That honestly, that's one of the things that triggered me the most. I'm like, I'm a feminist. Like, you're not gonna tell me that I can't do things that men can't do. Just because you said so.
And even if the women, like, if you don't even like, I saw something recently, and it was like, there's no, from now on, like, no more like feminist word. Like, you're either equal or like you're not for women at all, because like there shouldn't be a term for women to be equal, you know what I mean? Like we should just all be the fucking same.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, how I can't be in anything if I don't feel like I'm
respected.
Yeah. And so
well, that goes along with, I wanted to ask, like, what are their, I know they're not political, but because this can, I guess it can be political in a way, but like, how do they view like the Black Lives Matter movement? Well, I guess you haven't been involved when that really all went, well, Black Lives Matter. But like, how do they view Black Lives Matter, LGBTQ, and
pandemic? Like, how did everybody respond to that?
I feel like it's different for each person, I guess, but overall, I feel like they are like a very inclusive like religion, which is nice. Like, they don't like choose races over others. Like, they're equal in that way, like completely. So that's something that I feel like they just like didn't pay attention to with Black Lives Matter, and like everything that happened like last year. Like they didn't really have much to say, just because like they already take their stance in like making sure that all races are equal. So they're like, well, we did our part like here, so
that's good.
Yeah.
Well, but it's also like,
but also there's other
stuff. You can see the problem.
Yeah.
You know, like they could have there's obviously a problem.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but I'm just like,
At least they're
not
inclusive.
like
least they're not
racist.
racist,
Yeah, like God, I'm just like adding to
They
my
get 1
frustration.
point.
I'm like, I'm just sort of yelling again.
Yeah, but how do they view LGBTQ?
They take no part in anything to do with LGBTQ.
Yeah, I mean,
What did you know of anyone that was gay in the church or
I guess
came to be?
is it? We don't say church. You don't
Kingdom
say
halls?
church. Yeah.
I mean, I understand what you're saying.
Oh,
So
okay,
it's okay either way. But
Okay.
you weren't allowed to be gay, being a Jehovah's Witness. So even if there were like a couple instances where like we had like, I don't know, I guess you suspected that someone was like gay or bisexual, but they never could act on it. You know what I mean? So like,
Oh, they couldn't do anything about it?
yeah. So like there was a couple people that I was like, are you?
Yeah.
But like they would never say, obviously. So
Well-
that's another thing, like tying back to what you said of like moving further from like your true self. Like you just have to hide those things.
Yeah.
So
How does your family treat you now that you're not in the?
Yeah.
it's very different from what it was. Me and my mom used to be really close, but we're not anymore. So that sucks. But like my sister isn't part of it. My brother, like my older brother and my younger sister, and we're really tight. Like
That's nice.
we have a great bond, and I couldn't ask for anything more. So
Yeah.
Is she like disappointed in you or something?
definitely, yeah. It's more of like every time we have a conversation, it somehow leads back to like how I should be like making my way back.
That's how
You know
my
what I
dad
mean?
is too.
Yeah, she's
Like-
like, you know that this is like the right thing. I'm like, no, like you're just not listening. Like I said, this isn't for me. You know.
What about your dad?
My dad doesn't really have any role in my life at all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like, if my parents send me a TikTok, I'm like, oh, it's gonna be funny. Like it's about to be like something about like our childhood or something, and it's like some speech at a church and like Bible verse, and I'm like, swipe off.
I
I'm
know,
like,
my
never
mom does that to
mind.
me
Like,
too, yeah.
like, can we not just like
Can we
for
just have a
5
conversation?
Yeah, can we just have
Yeah,
a
like a
conversation and
human
not shove it down my
conversation.
throat?
Exactly. Yes.
Like if you
Yeah.
just let your kids be who they wanted to be, they would more than likely find that on their own.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
nothing
Yeah.
ever works if you hold a child by their neck and
Exactly.
be like, do this.
Yeah.
Like that's how.
And even if you do and they follow you, you have to know that's not what they
that's not their
actually
free
want.
will. Like unless they're like, wow, I love this. But like
Yeah.
anyway. Yeah, I wanted to know like how your mom is with you now and everything like that.
Yeah,
but-
she just like tries to bring it back to that. I actually there's been a lot of times we've got into very heated arguments or conversations just about like, you know, my way of living versus hers, and I'm like, you know, I don't shove my beliefs or my opinions down your throat, and I don't tell you why you're wrong in believing what you believe in. So can you just have the respect for me? Like I'm an adult now. I have my religion, you have yours. We're still family. You're still my mom. Like can we just like not do this anymore?
Dude, I just had one of those fights this week with my mom about like
Oh my God.
her pushing her religious beliefs on me.
Yeah.
And it's just so I can't even talk to her about stuff because it's like you're not even fucking listening, and I'm not trying to fight with you, but like it's just interesting that I feel like, and this is just from my perspective because this is the age I'm at, like our parents' generation is just like what the fuck happened, like why, like what?
Yeah.
Like we're the generation that I feel like collectively are conscious, we're like taking control of our consciousness.
Yes,
Because
I
we-
had this conversation like 3 times with like 3 different people like within the last week. So it's so funny that you said that. But like our generation is just like more forward moving. It's just like,
It's because of technology. Like we are constantly evolving because we have the way to communicate with other humans, like
And information.
at our fingertips. So like my dad is like, you know, you guys think that, you know, you're just so special. Your generation thinks you're so special. I'm like, we are. Like we are literally like changing and evolving so much quicker because we have technology. We have like we can't learn anything without communicating with another human being. So like we are doing that now. And
Yeah, and I guess back then, like truly their information was limited. You had the library and
Right.
stuff. But like
And it wasn't as fast.
you would go to church, and that was
communicate.
a
That was
huge
your
part of the
circle.
information you got.
Right. Now your circle can be like in another country. It can be over here. Like, and that's like one thing, like with how I was raised too, is my dad always taught me like, you know, I'm so proud of you. You're headstrong, you're stubborn, like you stand up for what you believe in. And then as I got older and I started believing different things, and I was still headstrong and like loud and like so defiant and like my thoughts, he was just like, no, like this is wrong. And I'm like, right, I'm like, oh wait, you're proud of me for the things that you believe in, not what I believe in. Like it's just totally different. And I just
and that's a hard thing. I don't know if you feel this way, but like my mom was proud of me for like the same thing and like standing up for what I believed in, and that's when it was what she believed in. But then as soon as like that shifted, like she was always proud of me because I was that, but I was still the same thing, but I was just finally doing it for my own reasons,
right? And then that's when the separation happened.
Exactly. And then it's like, well, I'm still the same person that you love, like the qualities, so why is it different now? You know what I mean? So like that's a hard pill to swallow, that you know.
Well, how has it affected your mental health?
It's rough some days, you know.
Well, like even with everything that happened to you that, you know, obviously you haven't dove in about, but like, I mean, are you good? Like,
yeah, like, I'm getting there, you know. Okay. I was not good for a second there. I've had a great year. I've just really like come to with myself, I feel like. So it's just, I don't know, I'm finally at the point where I can accept things for what they are, and obviously there's days that it's harder to do that than other days, but you just have to accept life for what it is, you know. Everyone's on their own path, their own journey. Like my mom, I know she loves me, but she's on her journey, you know, so like this might be the right path for her, but it doesn't mean it's what's right for me. So
have you ever, because we fucking love therapy, have you ever done any therapy?
I haven't. I try to like talk through a lot of things by myself, which is like good, but you can't do everything by yourself. So it's definitely something I've been considering lately.
Have you ever done psychedelics?
Yes.
Oh yeah. We love that kind of therapy.
Yes, definitely the ego death.
I guess like,
has that been a part of your journey?
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. It's a huge...
Was that before or after you left?
That was after I left. Yeah.
Wow. I love that.
So what was your first experience like, having come from that and then doing something like that? Like, because that's a spiritual experience with it's a higher being, if
absolutely,
you know, you're on that level. And just coming from that, like, did you think about your religion, your past religion, like while tripping for the first time, or did any of that ever come to mind?
I don't think it was necessarily me thinking about the religion so much, but just like finding my own.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Cool. So, like, I didn't really even have to, like, think about that, because that's something that I knew I was done with, you know what I mean, for a while. So it was just me, like, getting that, like, jump start on my own journey.
Okay.
So.
Can you kind of, is this kind of a spin around, tell us more about the 2-witness rule?
The what?
Is that, like, a thing with you guys? The 2-witness rule?
What's that?
Oh, well then.
Someone told us to ask that.
Yeah, we have people like submit questions that we wanted to ask, and they asked her like about the 2-witness rule, which is basically, and this may not even be with Jehovah's Witnesses necessarily, but
this could be a rumor or something on the internet,
or it could be with Mormons. But basically, if there was like sexual assault that happened, they would not believe it unless there was 2 witnesses to.
Ooh, I don't know, because like I know my situation wasn't handled well, but it was also like a lot of like lying and manipulation on like the other end, so it was like the story was spinned, and like obviously that's how it always happens, but it wasn't ever something that was like stated, like someone had like would have had to be there for us to believe you. Like they never said that. I don't know if it's a thing that is like going around, that's like a rumor, like maybe like that's how they actually determine it, but I've never heard anything about that.
I feel like if you didn't hear that, then
we'll do some digging.
Yeah, we're gonna do some. We're gonna have you back on, because like I feel like it'd be cool to like, you know, release this, and then if people like had their like questions or there's tidbits or something, and to bring you back on and be like, here's a list of questions that people have. But
I'm willing, definitely.
Like the Catholic Church, is there a lot of under the rug child abuse and sexual assault?
Honestly, I can't say because I haven't seen it firsthand. I haven't heard of it firsthand. Like, there's no one that like came to me and was like, this happened, like, oh my gosh, you know what I mean? Like, there's definitely been times where like I felt uncomfortable, but like it never like got like escalated to anything like that, especially with like older like elders or like higher authorities. Like, I've never experienced something like that. That doesn't mean it didn't happen though, right? So I don't know, because it could happen anywhere with any religion, right? You know what I mean? So
yeah, I feel like would you say your siblings are happier now as well?
Yeah, I think maybe they're more on like that path of like finding themselves, because my sister is younger. She's 19 right now, so I know when I was 19 and like she like just like moved out of my mom's house finally, like spreading her big girl wings. But yeah, I think she's more like on the path to finding herself now finally, which is good. So yeah, my sister's doing great. My brother has a son, so he has his hands full with that. And then my younger brother just got his own place, so we'll see what happens.
So they're just on their little own like
time. We're all like grown. It was so funny because before I moved out to California, we had like one like last sibling reunion. And yeah, it was just nice, but I was like, wow, we're all old. Like you have your own place. I'm moving to California. My younger sister just moved in with her boyfriend. Like, we're all just like in these little chapters, and like my brother's a new dad, so it's just like weird to see us all.
That is cool.
Doing our own thing.
Okay, what's your takeaway from this experience
overall? I think I'm still learning it. I think that like there's a lesson that I picked to learn before I was on this earth, and I'm just like in the process of figuring what
I believe the same thing. That we're like, I believe that we're brought on in each life to perfect our soul, like one thing, or multiple things each lifetime, and then only then after many lifetimes have you perfected it do you then you become a teacher, or like go to whatever version of whatever, and whatever's perfect, and you're chilling. So
it's like your soul contract. That's what I refer to it as.
Well, dang, I just feel like I got fired up.
It's so interesting. I want to watch, honestly, at Netflix. You should do something about, like, they should cover Jehovah's Witness.
I definitely think they do.
What?
Right?
A documentary?
I think so.
Yeah, there actually is one.
We were sending, Brittany and them were sending it to us last night.
If we got time.
I never watched it, actually. I have to watch that.
They sent us one on, like, Mormonism, too. Okay. We're going to get into that. So, so did we cover everything?
I think so. Honestly, the only other things that I, like, had written down were just, like, no tattoos, no piercings. Like, you're not allowed to have anything like that. Like,
at this point, I could have guessed.
Yeah, exactly. I'm
Even, like, what about hair? Like,
no crazy hair colors. They're like frowned upon, like the blues and purples, you know what I mean? So
I mean, I guess all that stuff was technically frowned upon in the Christian church, but there wasn't like set rules.
Right, yeah. Most people just didn't like cross them enough for us to find out what would happen.
Oh, but people in church get tattoos because they get the cross tattoos and
the scriptures. They're like, oh, it's Psalms 369.
Oh my god, is it Psalms?
I don't fucking know.
Psalms.
Yeah, it's not palms, it's Psalms.
Palms. Okay. Well, dang.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. This was very enlightening. I'm sure we're gonna make some people mad, but whatever. I learned a lot, and I guess tell everybody where they could find you if you want, like, maybe people will like will ask you questions and stuff.
I mean, you can add me at kennedy.alexandra on Instagram. But all my links are in my link.
Yeah. And we'll tag her too. But I mean, seriously, thank you for coming on, because like I know that this wasn't easy. I mean, it's definitely something that it makes people uncomfortable to hear about, and especially if they're a Jehovah's Witness, and like it's just not a comfortable topic all the time. And I feel like, those are the kind of conversations we want to have, because we want to learn a lot more.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I appreciate you bringing up your past and putting it out for the public for other people to learn about. And
I did it. It was kind of a selfish thing, because I just wanted to, like, I don't know, like, face it and be like, okay, this is what I'm dealing with.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, like,
So-
I just think that's, I mean, we talk about all the time. We love being, we like being vulnerable. We really do like having conversations. If I meet somebody, probably within like 5 minutes, I'm going to talk about like trauma or something. Like,
yeah,
I know.
I can't help it. Like, I like you if I do that.
Yeah, right, exactly. Like, I don't want to sit here and talk about bullshit. I just want to talk about, I want to continue to like communicate with humans and learn from them and just, I don't know.
Take off the mask.
Take off the
Exactly.
mask.
Yes,
My
take off the
God.
mask.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah, we
We
appreciate
really
you.
appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you
Yeah.
guys for having me on.
Yeah. Well, before we go, we have 3 questions we want to ask you that are totally unrelated to this.
Okay.
Okay. You want to go first?
The first one is, what is your favorite way to eat or cook a potato?
A potato. Okay. I'm gonna have to go with French fries.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Finally,
they have
someone
my
says
heart.
damn French fries. I'm
Yeah,
like,
like
It might sound basic, but I'm just being honest.
no.
French fries are fucking amazing.
It might sound basic, but I'm just being honest. Okay, if you could be the best at any Olympic sport, summer or winter, which one would it be?
I don't watch Olympics, but
Okay, well, like,
Same.
well, I don't either, but like, if you could be the best at any sport where you would win a gold medal, what would it be?
is ice skating one of them? Because I
Yeah.
would absolutely love to like shred some ice. you know?
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, no one has said ice skating yet.
I love the little,
But like
the little
figure
leotard.
skating.
Yeah.
I
know
The fun
someone
stuff.
did one year they did Sailor Moon on ice skating, and I was like,
Wow.
yeah, she straight up like transformed. She
That's
like it was a
amazing.
whole thing. I was like, oh, okay. Okay, our last question is,
Would you rather smoke weed on the beach or trip psychedelics in the desert?
I would say smoke weed on the beach because I think with psychedelics in the middle of a desert, I would just start tripping out like in a bad way. So-
okay, that's fair.
So,
I've definitely
I would
had that
have to
happen
go,
before.
yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah.
Okay, well
A
then,
little beach vibe.
you know, okay,
Yeah.
and then I guess tell us one more time where we can find you so we can like, you know.
You can find me at kennedy.alexandra on Instagram.
Okay, cool. Okay,
All
well,
links
damn.
in the bio.
And we'll tag her. But okay, again, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank
This
you.
was great. And all right, guys, we'll see you next time.
All right.
Bye. Bye.